Hello and welcome, my screen name is Covert Muffin, and this is going to be a marathon submission for Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer, specifically running the All Skill Locations category, also known as Forest Trees. So this category in particular is probably going to be the easiest to sort of like point at and explain objectively for a marathon performance itself, because it is the closest to the most popular and most run category of the speed game itself, which is all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere. So basically we use the same rule set and the same objective of going and activating every single skill location on the map before we are allowed to start and finish the final escape. But here in Ori and the Blind Forest, it is a 2D Metroidvania platformer, so we're going to be running around, we're going to be jumping, we're going to be hopefully tracking down a list of skills that are going to allow me to do very, very different things and check additional pickup locations. So here, at the start of the seed itself, we're going to come over and get to our first skill location, which is going to be Sign. It is one of a few pickups that are not randomized within the randomizer itself, because this is an item randomizer, so the pickup locations are all the same, with some extra added in. However, what we end up finding at those pickup locations is going to be the thing randomized. So Sign is going to be our basic ability. It's going to allow us to use other abilities if we end up finding them, but also more importantly is it's going to allow me to attack things. So for this reason, it's not randomized within the randomizer, because otherwise that would be a very, very cursed category. So here, opening up the teleport menu, you normally can't do this, but this was a modded functionality added into the randomizer itself to allow us to basically mitigate us from various soft locks and silly cursed states that we can find our in from being very creative speedrunners. But here, so far, we've just found a resource known as a keystone, which is going to allow me to open up a door over here if I find another keystone, which is the most probable thing that we're going to find. Then besides that, we found an additional energy cell. Yep, there we go. So now that we have 2 keystones, this in logic is going to add in 4 additional pickups, as it gives us access to an area with another couple of skill locations, which is going to be known as glades. So here, coming into the water to take in a death intentionally is going to allow me to sneak through that door a little bit quicker, which is known as a ghost door. Cool. All right, but yeah, coming through here is going to be the first of those 4 pickups. It's going to be another keystone, so we can actually open up another key door over here, which I'm going to most likely do to save a number of seconds later on. Yeah. So I'm going to open that door and then come back later, because after that door is going to be a bit of a wall that I can't get over yet, because I do not have either the verticality to be able to jump high enough to get up there, or a skill that is classified as wall interaction, such as climb or wall jump or double jump. But there we go, we found our first skill. It's going to be glide. And glide is going to allow us to float, but most importantly is it's going to make one area in particular a lot easier to navigate to that skill location, which is going to be in Sorrow Pass to get to Charge Jump Tree is. Whoops! Sorry, I had a little bit of an itch there. Scratched my face. And now we are going to head down to wall jump. And so here, this is guaranteed to either be a skill or it's going to be a teleporter in order to get access to a new area, or it could be the world event Wind Restored, which is going to pair with glide. And finding glide this early drastically increases the probability that this is Wind Restored. And voila, there it is. So Wind Restored is going to be the event that you normally get in the base game after finishing Forlorn Escape, but it's a cool thing that we just have these events, have these skills, as I teleport back to the Glades teleporter. As just pickups that you can just find anywhere. Absolutely love that in the randomizer. Adds a lot of really fun versatility. And you don't need to be a speedrunner to try out the randomizer. We do have a logic mode that tapers well to people who have never speedrun the game or seen a speedrun. But here, really cool backtracking thing I have to do. I have to jump up there and then use glide to land on that small little ledge there and come over here for sort of this wind current that ends up getting spawned on the map from finding Wind Restored. Yeah, and there it is. Now I'm in the air current. And is it a skill? It is. It's wall jump. Okay. Here I'm going to do a glitch by entering an energy into the door and then leaving the same frame that I put the energy in. Very precise trick, but very, very cool. So there, now I only need 3 max energy in order to open that door instead of the necessary 4 if I decide to backtrack and go through that location to get access to new biomes on the map. But there was a glitch known as Save Anywhere. We'll be doing this glitch all over the place, so I'll explain it in detail later on. But most importantly, what that did is it allowed me to save the game after crossing a cutscene trigger. And this allows me to either skip or enter grand majority of cutscenes, actually, in the game itself. And this is used in a normal speedrun of the game, as well as the randomizer itself. And so each time I want to use an ability, level up an ability, to be able to do that Save Anywhere glitch in order to save the game, I do actually need to spend ability cells. So in the bottom center of the screen, you'll notice a pinwheel with the number 1 as, ooh, we found our next skill, Stomp. Very, very nice. And so that 1 designates that I have 1 ability point that I can spend on abilities. And the cost for abilities ranges between the value of 1 and 3 that is predetermined by the game itself. So basically, the more invested you go into one of the ability trees, the more expensive leveling up an ability is. So ability cells are one of the most important resources for speedrunning a randomizer consistently. And so definitely I'm going to be saving those and spending those at really specific points to enter very specific cutscenes to save large amounts of times. Like, the glitch overall saves probably about over 4 minutes every single seed, which is a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, so we found a Mega Energy, which is a bonus pickup within the randomizer, which is going to give me a temporary battery of energy. Yep, so when I spend that energy, I do not get it back. So even though my maximum energy is still 2, then using that Mega Energy is going to allow me for a single instance to be able to do something like open up a 4 energy door as I enter this cutscene with another Save Anywhere. So here, as I'm waiting for the pedestal to rise, restoring light to Blackroot Burrows to allow me to get access to this 2 skill locations within the area, we're going to do a bit of sequence breaking to check that pickup. That pickup is a hard locked by logic, where it expects you to have dash in order to be able to check it. We saw a low experience amount. Pickups are range in value randomly, and the later in logic those experience pickups are, the higher the values can end up rolling. So if I found a very large experience amount on that pickup that was gated by dash, I then know that dash is not going to show up in an early game area. However, we only found about like 58 experience or something like that at that pickup. So decent probability that will end up tracking down dash. So other things to further confirm this probability are going to be additional pickups that are potentially gated by dash that have sort of early in logic functionality. So here I'm doing one of the only glitches that is expected to be known for the sake of speed running the randomizer on the standard level of logic, which is a lever glitch to get this door to open up infinitely. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger a Indiana Jones boulder escape and then save the game by leveling up an ability. Oh no, I'm not going to do this. Okay, I'm going to try and go above the boulder. I don't know why I'm doing this, because it's just so much easier to just glitch out the boulder. Okay. So if I leveled up an ability and then quit the menu and reload, it would actually stop the boulder from being able to deal damage to me, except for in very specific parts of the escape sequence itself. But there, killing that Frankie is going to cause it for him to be impossible for him to respawn. And I'm just doing this because I don't need him alive, because I have Stomp as a skill. But we're going to come over here. We are just finding keystones, which are very early resources. Oh yes, I broke a floor, which causes a cutscene there to despawn. But here I'm probably going to make my way over to Spirit Caverns as I find Sorrow Teleporter. Wow, that is a massive find for the seed. So finding teleporters can be done, as you just saw, in the randomizer, which was added in the second version of the randomizer itself. And so Sorrow, in particular, is going to be one of the late game areas and one of the hardest areas to sort of navigate through. But with Stomp and Glide, it's going to make utilizing Sorrow TP to be very, very easy. And that's going to save me minutes for the randomizer itself. But here I missed a check that I usually do. This is just for safety. This is a very common check to do. Oh, 59 experience. Okay, so another low experience amount. Normally the randomizer expects me to have clean water to be capable of checking that pickup. And without clean water, the randomizer thinks that it is impossible for me to be able to get access to that pickup. So seeing a low experience amount there could mean that... Oh yeah, Glades proper. Oh no. Right, I haven't checked those pickups yet. We could end up finding clean water a bit early on. So on the way down to Wall Jump Tree, I didn't have any sort of verticality or wall interaction, so I wasn't capable of checking a number of pickups, like 4 additional pickups. So just because they're so early in logic, right, it is a bit of a time loss to backtrack to them, but our next big find could be at one of these pickups. And so really what I'm looking for right now as we continue to progress through the Glades Loop is a skill. Like, finding the next skill is going to be the biggest thing. Dash has a reasonably high probability with this skill set to be very early in logic, so we could find Dash, which is a skill that allows us to move horizontally very quickly around the map. Ooh, as we find Spirit Light Efficiency, doubling the experience values of every single experience pickup, as well as experience that's just dropped by enemies. So I absolutely am going to hold on to that. But yeah, so with speedrunning the randomizer, we are always required, in order to finish a seed, to find one of 3 what we classify as power skills. Yeah, and there's Dash. Okay, Dash was very early in logic. And so Dash is going to be our first of 3 potential power skills that we find. And we classify them as power skills for 2 reasons. One is that it guarantees to save like minutes across every single seed that you'll end up doing if you track down one of the power skills early on in particular. And Dash is exactly that. The second thing is it allows us to check a high density of pickups as we progress through the randomizer itself. So Dash in particular, once we level up Charge Dash as an ability, can break blue plants, which have pickups, as well as break blue walls, which can get us access to new areas. And then also it allows me to utilize certain glitches and stuff to be able to build a lot of speed and or build a lot of height. So even with its just base functionality that everybody who played the game normally knows Dash for, there are also a number of glitches and exploits that I have at my disposal. Here, I could go through a key door to get access to a new skill location to activate it, which is the constraint in order to be able to start the final escape. However, I just simply have the capability of getting up to Charge Dash, and that's going to allow me to get access to that skill location without spending keystones in order to get to it. So this is important for lowering your average time as a speedrunner of the randomizer, is sort of optimizing your resource management. And so almost every single skill location on the right side of the map, which is the grand majority of skill locations, are gated by keystones, right? So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of 7 of the skill locations are gated by keystones themselves. And then also on the left side of the map, there are a number of skill locations that are potentially gated by keystones as well. So there, just checked in another pickup for a little bit of safety because it did come early in logic. Dash as a power skill, I can finish seeds with just having Dash, but I really do want to find at least one, if not 2, of the other skill locations. So there, now having gotten to 3 skill locations, I now have gotten a clue as to where one of the 3 dungeon keys are. And so in order to be able to finish out the randomizer, I mentioned that we do need to activate every skill location, right? So we need Water Vein to be able to get access to the Ginso tree. And I need Sunstone in order to be able to get access to Mount Horu, which is the final area in the game, which has the final escape itself. So I was laughing because Forlorn Ruins, the 3rd and final dungeon, in the grand majority of all skill location seeds, we don't actually ever need to go to Forlorn. But here's a quick mini-boss fight. Just gonna stomp on the ground to deal some damage, and then stomp... Oh, I just missed that. In order to attempt to redirect projectile. I just stomped a little too early. So the projectile was out of the splash radius of stomp. But yeah, so normally, like, we don't need to go to Forlorn. Doesn't have a skill location. Doesn't have the final escape that we need to do. But here, because I finished my first 3 skill locations, I now have gotten the clue as to where Water Vein is, which is required to get to a skill location. And it indeed is in Forlorn. So we will be traversing to all 3 dungeons in the seed itself. So that's great. That is really great. But don't worry, the estimate does also include expecting to have really terrible sort of locations for the dungeon keys themselves. Cool. But we are coming over here in order to get access to another skill location, which is going to be Double Jump Tree. And really what I'm looking for is my next power skill, in all honesty. So the other 2 power skills are Charge Jump, which allows you to jump off of the ground at very, very high heights. And then if I find Climb and or some other stuff, then we can actually end up utilizing Charge Jump in other creative ways. But here, stomping off the Frankie at a very precise time, getting that first try is very, very nice. It's going to allow me to build just barely enough height to get that pickup. But here we go, we actually found a dungeon key. It was just on a skill location, which is really nice. So we now have Sunstone, which is going to open up Mount Horu and give us access to the final escape after I finish activating off the skill locations. Very nice to just stumble across Sunstone without having to go out of my way to track it down. But here, just with the ability menu up, I'm just going to end up saving the game at a specific time in order to enter a cutscene. So just really cool thing with the randomizer is that everything I'm doing right now is in logic, right? It does expect me to use wall jump, dash, and stomp to be able to get access here, and then glide when restored to float up that main air shaft. So even though I don't have double jump, even though I don't have charge jump or bash and grenades, to build the necessary height to be able to normally do that, there are all these very interesting and creative pathways that we have mapped out and put into the filter itself. So very, very cool. That being said, we're just continuing to come through here. We don't really have the capability to be able to go to any other skill location right now. So my best bet right now is just to check places that are in logic that have the potential to have pickups. So I'm going to be heading up here to go to either Grove proper or Thornfelt Swamp. Both are good locations. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe dip a little bit into Grove first. Maybe just check this pickup right here. Yeah, and we're gonna continue into Grove. Okay, that is a great decision. There are a number of pickups in here that come very early in logic, and that are very quick to get to. So, very, very good decision. But that being said, why don't we say this is an excellent time to read off 4 donations. Cool. Reading donations. Reading donations. I don't think I've talked about bash yet. I was talking about power skills. That's okay, that's okay. They are reading donations right now. Might just be Valley entrance, you know. Okay. Alright, thank you so much for those donations. All of that's going to an excellent cause, so please keep them coming in. So that being said, I'm going to come over here and activate this waypoint to be able to backtrack to this area later on, because I am going to be coming back here for sure. And that is going to act as a nice fast travel location, especially for when I want to go into Ginso. But, ooh, there we go. We found our next skill, which is going to be Double Jump. This is going to pair really well with Stomp and Dash, actually, once we end up unlocking the ability Charge Dash, which I am 2 ability points away from being able to grab. But here, just doing some blind movement. It's pretty simple, and just going horizontally to the right, so not much to see there. Anyway, but Double Jump is going to allow me to jump a second time within air. So having both Glide and Double Jump makes this seed very, very comfy, in all honesty. Yeah, there we go. Just able to build just a tiny bit of additional height. But here, I'm going to be jumping off of walls in really particular ways. If you see me do a little bit of a backflip, that is going to save a number of frames, allowing me to get back into the wall a little bit quicker. As well as land on the ground a little bit sooner, right? Because I need to touch the ground or touch a wall in order to be able to get back my ability to dash again. And double jump again, even. So just sort of optimizing my play, optimizing my heights as I'm going through, doing bits of movement. But yeah, here I'm just checking the in-logic filter as to where the next thing could potentially be. So here with double jump, this actually opens up a number of pickups in Grotto. We also haven't been to an area that is known as Death Gauntlet yet. So we most likely will be moving there as I do another bit of blind movement. Am I high enough? Yeah, okay. Right, I think the pickup just doesn't spawn until the cutscene's over. But here we got a map stone, which is basically a transferable pickup you can think of. And there I just turned in that map stone into a pedestal. And so there are 9 map pedestals on the map that are all going to have a pickup. But here I have enough ability points for Charge Dash, so I am going to end up leveling it up. And now this is going to allow me to break plants. And oh, that is really massive. That's going to be tricky to explain, but I can do it. So there I ended up just finding Charge Flame on a plant that expects me to have either Charge Flame or the ability Light Grenade to be able to check. So because Charge Flame was on that pickup location, I now know that Light Grenade is going to be somewhere on the map, and most likely Light Grenade is going to be early in logic. So that is a really, really massive find. Using Charge Dash to be able to break those blue plants or break blue walls in particular. Ooh, and we find Climb. Very nice skill. So using Charge Dash to break those plants, as I'm doing another one right there using Charge Flame through the floor, very nicely done. The game does not expect me to be capable of utilizing Charge Dash in this way. And the reason for that is we have to spend energy with Charge Dash to be able to break them, but also you have to invest a number of ability points to get Charge Dash, right? If you just get Dash, you don't get Charge Dash. You have to level up the ability and spend a lot of ability points. So finding Charge Flame on that blue plant, very massive find. So now not only do I know that Light Grenade cannot be on one of these blue plants, I know that Light Grenade likely is going to be pretty early in logic. So here, I'm going to be coming over to these areas now in order to be able to potentially track down that Light Grenade pickup. Alright, but here I'm just going to save the game for safety, and then do a backflip, which allows me to maintain my air dash speed a little bit quicker. And there I accidentally leveled up, killing the spider, so we are just going to take an intentional death there in order to be able to continue in this area known as Spider Sack Area. You might be wondering why it's called Spider Sack Area. Well, as you can see, there's spiders and then there's the giant egg sack. They're using the level up intentionally to be able to fully refill my energy and health, as well as get an ability point. It's going to allow me to open up that 4 energy door. Then I'm going to traverse over here. Okay, nothing important, so we're going to backload in order to be able to backtrack a little bit quicker. Just saves like a second or two. And then break this energy crystal, get some energy back. And here I'm actually just going to start moving over here as I accidentally fall down. No problem, backup's just to do a very precise climb to get back up there. But I also haven't been to this skill location yet, so I was able to just sort of add in a bunch of checks in order to get over to the skill location itself. Yeah, so interesting thing is Charge Dash usually uses 1 full energy every single time I cast it. However, by activating Stomp or a list of other things before the Charge Dash finishes, it is going to allow me to be able to refund that energy. Then, if I end up canceling that Stomp with a double jump, I can Charge Dash immediately thereafter. So you might just see me do a list of a lot of Charge Dashes in a row, but only end up like losing an energy or even no energy at all. But here I'm just back in Glades for a bit of marathon safety to be able to check some additional pickups that are gated specifically by double jump itself. All right, here's a very difficult jump. Nice first try. Oh, we did find a map stone. I guess I will end up holding onto that. So, only having turned in one map stone so far. Literally, every time you turn in map stone, you get a pickup. And the pickup is not dependent on which pedestal you turn a map stone into. It's the total number of map stones you have turned in so far. So there, now that I've turned in 2 map stones in order to get that resource, that is map 2. Whoops, as I accidentally killed the Frankie, no problem. Just gonna lure this one over. Come on. I'm here. And here I'm going to do a glitch known as a rocket jump. So activating charge dash underneath an enemy and then canceling out that charge dash on the same frame by also pressing jump is going to allow me to build a bunch of height. So here I'm going to check one more pickup in Glades because I am this paranoid. Because we really are running out of where our next bit of skill progression could be. There's only like a couple of areas with multiple pickups that are left. So here I'm just checking these long pickups that do take an amount of time to be able to check, while only getting one pickup, because they have a reasonably high probability of having that next bit of progression. And so that next bit of progression could be something like charge jump, it could be something like bash, which are the 2 most powerful skills left that I haven't found yet. Or it could be something like a teleporter to get me access to a new location. So here I'm just doing a save anywhere, and then leveling up the ability after crossing over a cutscene is going to save the game and allow me to quit the menu and reload in order to skip said cutscene. Alright, 92 experience there. Still haven't found it. Okay, using a rocket jump there on that bird, and is it on the plant? It is not. Okay. Yeah, so we really are running out of pickups as to where it could be. Here, the next bit of progression could be something like clean water, which would open up this one single pickup over here in logic. So I am going to check it just in case. Doing some nice jumps up these walls. All right. Is it here? It's not. It's Warmth Returned. Okay, Warmth Returned is the most useless event, and it's what usually ends up triggering as a flag within the game after you start the final escape. It does change some very minor things cosmetically. Oh, we haven't done Glide Vault. Oh no, I forgot to do Glide Vault. That's okay, that's okay. First we're gonna go over here into lower left grotto, which is going to be known as Gumo Hideout. And it's going to have a good number of pickups, in all honesty. There are a lot of pickups over here that are left. And then there, leveling up an ability while dashing is going to allow me to store that speed and do a very, very nice little glitch there. You can also like save the game while you're doing some other jumps and stuff like that to be able to build a bunch of height. And horizontal speed and distance. It's not just with dash that you can do this with. And this is, in all honesty, as I'm going through, yeah, there's clean water. Okay, that is massive. This is one of my favorite things, and the reason why this is my most run speed game of all time, as we do find our next power skill, which is going to be charge jump. So I now am pretty much in skill go mode. I really don't need any other skills to be able to finish out. It would be nice to find bash. But yeah, no, I can get through with charge jump in this skill set. But yeah, the randomizer just has so many glitches, right? There's a million different ways to be able to get through each biome and each area to be able to get access to these skill locations. There's very few hard-locked pickups within the randomizer itself, which a hard-locked pickup requires you to have a single skill in order to be able to get that pickup, and it's impossible to be able to check that hard-locked pickup without said skill. And in Ori and the Blind Forest, there's very few pickups. It's only a number of pickups that are gated by Light Grenade and Stomp, which are hard-locked within the game. But yeah, like here, I just backtracked through this area by utilizing very nicely placed Stomps on walls. But yeah, besides activating the skill locations, we do still need to track down Water Vein, which is, I know, in the dungeon Forlorn Ruins. So I'm either going to need either the Forlorn Teleporter to be discovered, or I'm going to require Gumon Seal, which is the key that ends up opening up. I just know that nothing is going to be on those plants. Like, you can just see me skipping pickups at this point, because I don't really need anything else besides access to Forlorn Ruins. So at this point, this is known as Lumberjack mode, which is a phrase that I ended up coming up with, because Lumberjack mode, right, going for the skill locations, which are these skill trees. So we're getting our Lumberjack on right now, and just pushing for the skill locations themselves. All right, so now we've activated Stomp Tree, so all that's really left are going to be the left side skill locations, and then there's going to be Bash Tree, which is gated by Water Vein and Forlorn Ruins. So basically, just as I come through Sorrow Pass and do another really incredibly precise trick that we never get to show off unless you're running the randomizer. Oh no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's okay. That's okay. So there, I just use Climb, Charge, Jump, which is normally how you get through the area. But here, I'm just going to be backtracking down through here, and then we're going to get to the skill location in Valley that normally gets you Glide, and then progress over into Misty Woods. So this is an excellent time to read off, why don't we say, 4 donations. Cool, nice stomp cancels. Yeah, I mean, as they're reading donations, I can't say this enough. Like, Ori as a speed game in general is incredibly impressive. It's an absolute beautiful game. But the randomizer in particular, for me, it allows me... I've done thousands of seeds, right? I have over 4,000 hours in speedrunning this randomizer in particular. And there's just a million different things that I would never get to show off if I were to just do normal base game speedruns. And a lot of the tech, honestly, was developed and discovered by people speedrunning the randomizer. Not all of it came and was ported over from people who only speedrun the base game itself. And that is very, very cool in general. All right. Thank you so much for those donations. Thank you so much. So here we're going to be coming into Misty Woods. We can check every single pickup in Misty except for one. And the most important thing from Misty, whoops, as I have a little bit of a tough time, no problem, is going to be once I activate that skill location. Not just because it's the constraint to be able to allow me to start the final escape, but it's also going to be my 9th tree. And that 9th skill location is going to give me the final hint for the final dungeon key, which is going to tell me the biome where Gumon Seal is, which I need to be able to finish out the seed. Because Gumon Seal, once again, opens up Forlorn Ruins. Forlorn Ruins is where I know Water Vein is. So that 10th tree I can't actually get access to until I track down Gumon Seal, right? So here, just doing another quick little cutscene skip, be able to get through a little bit quicker. That one saves like 1 second. Shoutouts to Rin for that one. But yeah, so coming down here through Missy, we're very close to that skill location, so we are going to be getting that information soon. So coming over here, I'm going to rocket jump up here, most likely. No, I'm just going to do a nice little charge jump and break that plant. Had a health cell. Health is really nice. We do have clean water, so health isn't nearly as important as like a seed where I'd be starved on those resources. There we go, tree number 9. And Gumon Seal's in Sorrow. Okay. Well, the good news is that we do have Sorrow Teleporter. We also do have Valley Teleporter. So I'm going to come to Valley Teleporter first, because if I find Gumon Seal at the bottom of Sorrow Pass, then I can head down immediately down to Forlorn. Yeah, so here, just being a little indecisive. Yeah, let's just float up. Let's just float up. So this pickup here may seem like it is in Valley. It is actually not. And so, this is true in the base game itself. If you just open your map and hover over sort of the pickup location, it'll tell you the biome that you're currently in. And so that pickup as well as this one are actually considered to be part of Sorrow. So here we're going to check it. It was not Gumon Seal. Instead, it was a map stone. So there's Wilhelm by Wilhelm. And we are just going to continue our merry way back into Sorrow Pass. They're doing a nice rocket jump to be able to get into Sorrow a little bit quicker. All right. So over here, there's a pickup right above, so I'm going to use this bird and do a rocket jump off of it to build the necessary height to be able to get up. Very nicely done. And there it is. Okay, so now that we have found Gumon Seal, I'm going to be backtracking down into Valley itself. And then we are going to do a nice little meteor kick, which is a rocket jump, but using the speed to go downwards instead of upwards. And we are just going to head immediately towards Forlorn Ruins. I'm not checking any additional pickups. I'm just completely hyper-focused on getting that water vein. But that being said, as I go down to Forlorn Ruins, this is an excellent time to read off, why don't we say, 3 donations. All right, and they are reading donations. Reading donation. I love Forlorn. Alright, thank you so much for those donations. Alright, here is Forlorn Ruins. So there are going to be a number of pickups in here where water vein could potentially be. Whoops! Looks like a bit of an encoding error. VLC, you okay? There we go, okay. Sorry about that, just a little bit of trouble with VLC. Alright, and there, okay, so there I ended up just skipping over a cutscene there, but I had to save anywhere up, just in case. I do want to hold on to these ability cells, though, if I can, just simply because there might be certain cutscenes that I need to skip later on. Yeah, having a little bit of trouble here right at the start. There we go, okay, that jump is incredibly precise. They're doing a rock jump to make sure I just don't take any damage there. And this is great. I'm honestly glad this was a Forlorn Seed because it's pretty rare that you actually end up getting to go to Forlorn and Forest Tree Seeds. But that being said, just having done thousands and thousands and thousands of like Forest Tree Seeds, as well as hundreds of like World Tour 11 seeds and 100% seeds, I'm just very comfortable with working through every single area, especially Forlorn Ruins, without having like vital skills such as Bash. Because Bash is really the skill that not only is the most powerful skill in Ori and the Blind Forest, but also it makes going to all of the other pickup locations immensely easier. Alright, here we go. And there it is, there's Water Vein. So now that we have Water Vein, this is going to allow us to go into the Ginso tree and allow us to get to the final skill location and close out the seed. Oh man, come on. You can do it, Encoder. I believe in you. Okay, so here we're back in Thornfelt Swamp. And we now have Water Vein, so we can go ahead and open this up. So here, just resaving after you place Water Vein into the door itself, it's going to allow us to get into that door a little bit sooner. Very nicely done. So Ginso is a very vertical dungeon in particular. It is definitely the tallest dungeon besides maybe Horu itself. And the only thing that I need to do here is get to the skill location. So I'm just skipping everything because I know that I'm almost certainly not going to find Bash in here or Light Grenade. And so because both of those are pretty early in logic. But they could also be on the left side of the map itself. So here with Charge Jump and Dash, don't blink because there's going to be a mini boss kill here. And voila, just doing a Charge Jump and then doing a double Charge Dash is going to allow me to store the high amount of damage from Charge Jump and apply it to the mini boss with a double Charge Dash. And yeah, I'm just skipping all these other checks, right? I don't need them, right? And then taking another intentional death to get through that door a little bit sooner. And there it is. There is the final skill location. So there... Leveling up Ultra Defense is going to be nice. It's going to make the final escape a lot easier to be able to navigate through. But I have a bunch of health as well as clean water. So the final escape, we really didn't need Ultra Defense. But Ultra Defense reducing the amount of damage we take from damage sources significantly is going to be a very powerful thing, especially when speedrunning the randomizer itself. Whoops! Okay, just messed up my stomp cancel there, no problem. But here, this is probably going to be a highlight of the run itself, just going into Mount Horu. And then right when we get into Mount Horu, we are going to be doing a wrong warp glitch, which is going to be a door warp glitch. That is going to allow me to be able to skip the entire dungeon. Also, Mount Horu, you're going to notice that the lava is not going to be there. This was modified into the randomizer specifically by the devs of the randomizer in order to add more versatility with working through. Because otherwise, you go to the very top and then you slowly work your way down. But here, now with all of the rooms in Horu open up, if we got something like Water Vein in Horu, as nice, I get Door Warp first try. It adds a lot more versatility and replayability to Horu in general. But here we go. Here is going to be the final escape itself. So the most difficult rooms are going to be sort of this very start, and then the middle portion is where it could be difficult. But yeah, this starting section here is going to be really, really tough, so I'm going to make sure that I end up conserving my energy. Then breaking this floor, and then staying far enough to the left for Boulder not to respawn. I am now going to try and charge jump up, accidentally taking a damage there. Yes, nice, okay, and I beat that cycle. That is important. But it's not over yet. Here, we're going to take an intentional damage boost, getting through that lava first try. That is very nice. There's a very particular part of the floor that allowed me to charge jump up without taking another hit of damage, canceling out my jump. But here we go. We're going to jump. Yeah, very nice. Jump at a very precise time to be able to skip Burrow from spawning. And then using charge jump and triple jump is going to allow me bypassing having Bash to be able to finish out this scene. Time is going to be coming up in just about a minute. GG. But yeah, so for donation incentives, I think probably random spawn is going to be the best. And that would actually lower the estimate, because with random spawn, it actually spawns you in with some additional skills. And I will just showcase off random spawn in like the like donation incentives after I finish out these base missions themselves, yeah. But besides that, I mean, the Wilhelm Frog is one that people always do. We could totally do that, but I think random spawn is probably the most interesting overall for the sake of speedrunning it itself. But besides that, for categories, this is the most popular one. This is what we do for singles tournaments, which is Forced Trees, aka all skill locations. And it really showcases off, like, especially skill-starved situations with working through seeds succinctly. But World Tour is great because you have to visit every single biome, and 100% is the most consistent speedrun overall for the amount of time and duration without vetting a seed. Cool, okay, time's going to be coming up in just a few seconds, so get ready on time. And time. Cool, GG. Oh, but yeah, I love this randomizer so much. The devs have put in just so much love. Like, this is a community-driven project through and through, and we have a ton of beginners resources. We have a million accessibility and approachability options, which I just barely glossed over a few of them. And yeah, thank you so much for considering the submission for the marathon, and I hope you take care. GG.